guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dian. I'm a digital nomad and I've been traveling full-time. I create travel content to help you make the most out of your trip. So I just moved to Japan, and after traveling here countless times, I've gotten so many questions about planning a trip to this popular travel destination. First thing that you need to figure out is the best time to visit Japan. Japan is actually beautiful all year long, so it really depends on what you want to see. If you want to see the beautiful cherry blossom, aim for mid-March to early April, although this can vary each year and depending on the region you're visiting. For example, this year in 2025, I came here to Tokyo in mid-April and the cherry blossom is still blossoming, so that is something that you want to consider. The weather during springtime is also very pleasant. It can get a little bit chilly, around 11 to 12 degrees, but you also get a sunny weather. This is also a very popular time to visit Japan, so you can expect there will be a lot of other tourists or expats during this time. Another best time to visit Japan is during the autumn. So this usually go from November until early December. This is where you can expect most of the trees to turn orange. On my first visit to Japan, I actually came during this time and I also had a wonderful time in Japan. If you go to Osaka during this time, the temperature would be a couple degrees warmer compared to Tokyo. And Japan is also one of famous ski destination. So if you want to go on a ski trip, then you can come to Japan from December until February. So a popular destination to go during this time is Hokkaido and also Nagano. Summer can get a little bit hot and humid in Japan, but also during summer they have a lot of festival and fireworks. Last time when I was here in summer, I got to experience the firework festival, which is really cool. So they have it in different places, but usually people will get along together with family or friends. They have a lot of food stalls, so you can try a bunch of different Japanese street food. And they also have performance before they actually launch the fireworks. The things that you want to keep in mind is you want to avoid the Golden Week. So Golden Week usually happens during the beginning of May. This is when the local will have 1 week of holiday. So you can expect Japan to be like really packed. It will be hard to go around because most restaurants, transportations, and also attractions will be packed with people. Another question is how long should you stay? If it's your first time, then I would recommend 2 weeks. This is long enough to explore major cities like Tokyo, Osaka, or Kyoto. And you can always add a day trip, for example, to Nara, Kobe, or Hakone. Now, you do want to get an eSIM before you arrive here in Japan. Getting an eSIM before your travels really make your life a lot easier. This will save you time, money, because getting a SIM card, especially at the airport, can be really expensive. And with a pocket Wi-Fi, you need to charge it, and it's an extra item to bring around with you. So if you're not familiar with the concept of eSIM, it's basically like a SIM card that you can download and install on your phone. You want to make sure that your phone is compatible to using eSIM. Typically, you can go to an eSIM provider's website and then check out what type of data they have. Usually they have different packages depending on the travel destination. The most popular ones are Airlo, Saily, or UBG. Even this time, I'm using UBG and the process is really simple. You just have to install the app, pick the data package that you want, and just simply install it on your phone. Another tips that I would highly recommend is to bring cash. And yes, you can use your credit card or Mastercard on most places, but especially if you're going to a small towns or a street food spots or even temples, you still need cash. If you don't have enough cash during your travel, you can go to 7-Eleven or Lawson or any convenience store and withdraw your cash there. Now let's talk about the airport because I do think this makes a huge difference. So most people either fly to Tokyo or Osaka. And if you're flying to Tokyo, Tokyo has 2 major airports, which is Haneda Airport and Narita. Haneda is closer to the city. It's like 30 minutes away from Tokyo, while Narita is about an hour or an hour and a half away. So I would always recommend people to fly to Haneda because it's more affordable to get to the city and also it takes shorter time. But you might not always have that options. In fact, I actually fly to Narita this time and they have different transportation transportation options that you can use to reach the city. So you can either use Narita Express. It takes around 53 minutes to Tokyo Station. This is more of an expensive option, but they do have reserved seating, free Wi-Fi, and also a good luggage space. So if you're staying in Shinjuku or Shibuya, then Narita Express would be a great option. If you're staying in Ueno, then you can take Keisei Skyliner. This will take approximately 41 minutes to Ueno Station. This is less expensive than Narita Express, but if you have to go to a touristy area like Shibuya or Shinjuku, then you need to take another JR train. Another one is Keisei Limited Express. It usually takes around an hour to an hour and a half to reach the city center of Tokyo, but this is a really good affordable alternative. And if you're flying to Osaka, there are two airports at the Kansai region. The first one is Kansai Airport. This is where most people would fly to Osaka. And the second one is Itami Airport. Itami Airport is actually closer to Osaka City. So if your first destination is Osaka, then you can filter out flight to Itami Airport. So where is the best area to stay? For a first timer, if you're coming to Tokyo, then you might want to stay in Shibuya and Shinjuku. To be honest, this area is very busy because most of the tourist attractions are in this area. And you might need to pay a little bit more for the accommodation. But I said this is a great place to stay for your first time in Tokyo because you can save a lot of money on transportation and also a lot of time. If you want a more quiet vibes, then you can stay in Asakusa or Ginza. From Asakusa to Shinjuku, it usually takes around 30 minutes by train. Arriving in Japan with a huge luggage or like moving from one hotel to the other one can be a little inconvenient because dragging heavy suitcases on a packed station is not a vibe. So instead, you can use a luggage delivery service. The popular one here is called Yamato. It's super easy and affordable. You usually can find this at the airports. So let's say if you arrive in Japan early in the morning and it's not your check-in time yet, instead of dragging all your luggage with you to explore the city, you can just simply send it from the airport to your hotel. The main transportation system here in Japan is by taking the train. And if you're taking the train, then you will need to buy the ticket every single time. Instead of spending your time getting the ticket, you can just get an IC card. This is basically a transportation card that you can use and you can just like tap it anytime you want to go. So you can either get the physical card from the airport or the train station, but nowadays you can also just simply install the card on your iPhone. With this, you can just top it up with your e-wallet and you can use this for bus, trains, or even convenience store. So usually if you're in Osaka, the type of IC card that you will get is called Ikoka. And if you're in Tokyo, then it's called Suica or Pasmo, although you can use this card anywhere you go in Japan. Now here are some other transportation tips that you need. You probably have heard about JR Pass if you're researching about your trips to Japan. Well, the past couple years they have increased the price for JR Pass. So if you're only traveling to Osaka, Kyoto, or Tokyo, then it might not worth the value that you're getting. Instead of getting confused whether it's gonna be worth it or not, you can simply go to Japan Guide JR Pass calculator and check if it's worth it. And if you're planning to check out any other smaller town, then you need to take advantage of the free domestic flight. And yes, you heard it right, it's free. So this only works if you're flying with Japan Airlines. And the reason why they're doing this is because they want to encourage more people to explore different area in Japan. So not just Tokyo, Kyoto, or Osaka. The way you can get this free flight is you need to book your international and domestic flight on one booking with Japan Airlines. And usually you'll only need to cover the minimal taxes and also fees. Another website you want to check out is called taxfreeshops.jp. So most people already know as a tourist, you can get a 10% tax reduction here in Japan. But what a lot of people don't realize is some stores actually give you some discount on top of that. So with this website, you can check which shops are participating with this extra discount. You can search by location, categories. So this website is definitely worth to check out. I know everyone hypes up the convenience store here in Japan, like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, or Lawson, and they totally live up to it. But if you want to level up your convenience store game, go to an actual Japanese grocery store. They have even more variety, and you can find different types of Japanese snacks, fresh bento boxes. They also have bakery sections, sushi set, sashimi, even some souvenirs that are cheaper than tourist shops. It is honestly one of my favorite places to wander off, especially during the evening, because after a certain hour during the day, they do usually have a discount going on. Last but not least is you want to book everything in advance. So as we all know, Japan is a very popular travel destination, so things can easily get booked up. The last thing you want is coming all the way to Japan and not being able to go to the places you want because the tickets got sold out. To make a reservation at a restaurant, you can use an app called Tabelog, and for tourist attraction, you can just use Klook. So there you have it, my top tips to know before coming to Japan. I hope this helps you plan your trip to Japan. If you have any question or want me to cover any specific topic in another video, you can leave a comment down below. So that's it for today's video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!